Hello from the OCC Transfer Center. This video is for the Cal State University Next Steps for Fall 2022. So you've applied, now what? In this video, we will be discussing deadlines and important dates, how to update your academic record, academic planning, choosing a CSU campus, checking and understanding your admission status, and also information about financing your CSU education. First, important dates and deadlines. In the month of January, you should be completing your OCC graduation petition. For students who are completing an associate degree for transfer, this is an extremely important step for your Cal State application. So we recommend getting it done by January 31st. However, the deadline is February 15th. The OCC graduation petition is completed and posted on the OCC graduation website. Also in the month of January, you'll be completing your transfer academic update. This happens between January 4th and January 31st and is hosted inside the CSU application. Also in the month of January, you may have supplemental applications to complete. Now these are campus specific and program specific, so check out the websites and also your emails for details and deadlines for the individual campuses. In March through April, you begin to get some of your notices of admission, basically saying whether or not you are admitted to the campus conditionally. You'll be notified via email, so it's really important that you continue to check your email for any updates. And then in May, you will need to submit your intent to register. And this is basically your commitment saying, I'm going to this campus, and it will include a enrollment deposit, and the deadline can vary by campus. After you've applied to the Cal States, you'll begin to get information on the CSU Portals. These are campus specific, so the image we have here is my CSULB and their portal. But again, this is campus specific, so you'll have them for each of the campuses. And after submitting your application, you basically get an acknowledgement email, and it will include instructions on how to create your individual portal accounts. And it's very important that you log in to those portals because some of them will have to-do lists or important updates, and so you don't want to ignore or push it off because it's important to do. And in general, after applying to the Cal States, it's really important that you respond to all communication in a timely manner. So if you have any confusion about an email that you get, you can always touch base with the OCC Transfer Center during our drop-in hours, or you can also contact the individual Cal State directly. As I mentioned in the dates and deadlines, you will be completing a transfer academic update. So the Cal State system sends an email in January to all applicants for fall 2022, and it will include instructions on how to update your academic coursework and plan. And basically, you're going into the Cal State Apply and doing some updates. Those updates happen between January 4th and January 31st, and you'll be able to update the following areas: the colleges you've attended, your transcript entry section, the general education section. The main thing that you're going in and doing is updating your fall 2021 grades, and then if any changes have been made to your spring 2022 courses, you can also make those changes then. And then you can also review repeats and academic renewal in case there have been any changes or any updates that need to be made. So here's some instructions step by step on how to actually update your fall 2021 grades in the application for the transfer academic update. So you'll log into the application which is calstate.edu/apply. There's going to be a button that says update. Then you'll go to the academic history section, click transcript entry, and scroll down to the schools that need to have grades updated and click edit. You'll go to the semester that you're editing and click the pencil icon, And then you will have to change the completion status from in progress planned to completed. And this is what allows you to actually enter the grades. So that's a really important step to not skip. You'll then put in your grades and hit save, and then complete all other prompts to exit. And as always, we recommend using Google Chrome or Firefox. They just tend to be the best in terms of the least number of glitches with the Cal State application. Some schools may have supplemental materials, like supplemental applications or portfolios, and this could depend on the campuses you're applying to, but also if you're applying to a specific major that requires additional information like a portfolio. So again, really checking your emails, checking your portals to understand the dates and deadlines for the specific schools that you're applying to. However, we have information on two kind of popular schools for our OCC students. The first is Cal State Long Beach. Cal State Long Beach has a supplemental application for all applicants, and it is open from January 4th to February 1st. And the website here is cslb.edu/admissions/supplemental-application, and they will send you an email with a link to this. You can also find it on their admissions website for Cal State Long Beach. It's imperative that you complete this supplemental application by the deadline of February 1st in order to be considered for Cal State Long Beach. For San Diego State University, they also have a supplemental application. The deadline is January 24th, and you get to this through your student portal. So you would need to log into your student portal first. It's not posted on any kind of open websites or anything. So you go through and follow the step-by-step instructions on how to activate your student portal, and you will find the supplemental application. For students who are applying with an ADT, so an associate degree for transfer, another process that you need to be aware of is electronic verification, also called e-verify. The CSUs will contact the community colleges for an electronic verification to confirm that students are on track for the ADT. And meaning on track that you're going to be having all the classes that you would need to receive that degree. In order for this to be done, in order for you to be e-verified, you need to complete the OCC graduation petition by that February 15th deadline at the very, very latest. So again, we recommend actually getting this done in the month of January. And a new feature of the Cal State application that they've added just for fall 2022, so this is brand new, is that they have this area where you should be able to check the status of your e-verify actually in Cal State Apply. And so I've got a screenshot here. It's under the check status subsection right at the top. If you've indicated that you're applying with an associate degree for transfer, you should be able to see the verification status. And according to the Cal State website, this is updated daily. So hopefully this information will be accurate. But again, this is a new feature. The most important part for you to remember with e-verify is just to get that OCC graduation petition in by February 15th at the latest. In terms of academic planning, we also want you to just be aware that the basic CSU admissions requirements must be met by the spring of 2022. You do not have this summer 2022 to finish up admissions requirements. So here's the basic criteria. You must have a minimum of 60 semester units of transferable coursework completed by spring. Complete your lower division major requirements, and those can vary by the campus that you're applying to. You must have 30 semester units of general education, and those can come from either IGETC, which is option 3, or option 2, the CSU GE pattern. You definitely have to have your Golden 4 requirements, and those are 4 specific general education courses that are in the categories of English composition, critical thinking, oral communication, and quantitative reasoning. You have to have a college transferable GPA of at least 2.0, and your GPA is calculated using all of your transferable units attempted. However, students should definitely have a higher GPA, especially when applying to impacted programs and campuses. And some schools may have higher than a 2.0 minimum for individual majors or for the campus overall. So that kind of varies by campus and varies by major. But the very minimum is a 2.0 to be eligible for CSU transfer. And then you also have to be in good standing at the last college or university that you attended. So in simple terms, good standing means that you're eligible to re-enroll or to continue taking classes at your last college or university. So next, choosing a Cal State university. When it comes time to choose a CSU, what are some things that you should consider? First of all, location, campus climate, access to professors, class size and availability, the majors and departments offered at the individual schools, student life, so like clubs, organizations, etc., housing, whether that be on campus or off campus, the various support programs that are offered at the school, and honors and research opportunities. So how do you actually find out more information about these different elements? Well, the first thing that you can do is actually just explore the campus website. There's going to be a lot of different information about all of these things on their campus website. There's also typically virtual campus tours posted on the websites for the individual campuses, and you can see if in-person tours are offered, and this would just be campus by campus. You can also speak with the campus representative through one of our OCC campus rep appointments. And the QR codes on the right-hand side, we have CSU virtual events, so the Cal States may have, campus-specific events offered. And there's also a website for the CSU Campus Match that helps you look at some of the elements for the campuses and kind of compare and contrast to see which one would be a good fit for you. When you're admitted to a Cal State, it's going to be a provisional admission, also called a conditional admission. So basically, when you're offered admission, it's provisional until the campus receives your final official transcript and they've verified that you've successfully completed all of the coursework. So everyone who's admitted is initially either provisionally or conditionally admitted until they basically prove that everything you said on your application is true and that you've also completed, that final semester of classes in spring to reach your 60 units, your minimum coursework, Golden 4, etc. And again, as mentioned in the dates and deadlines, you'll begin to hear back in terms of notifications about admission status in March through April, and it just varies by campus. After receiving your offers of admission, you will need to eventually submit your Statement of Intent to Register, or SIR. Each campus that accepts you for admission will issue you an SIR form or direct you to a website where you can declare your intent to register. You'll use the form or the website to indicate whether or not you accept or decline the admission offer. And we strongly encourage you to wait until you hear from each campus you've applied to before you declare your intent to register. If you're also applying to the UCs, just keep in mind that they sometimes get back to students a little bit later than the Cal States. So just be patient and wait to hear back, but definitely don't miss the deadline for your SIR because that's very, very important that you adhere to all deadlines. Next is redirection for ADT applicants. So if you have an associate degree for transfer and you're not accepted to any of the programs that you applied to, like not a single one of them, you are eligible for redirection. And redirection does not happen until after April 1st, so it's pretty late in the admissions process. And you'll be contacted earlier in the admissions process to select your first and second choices for redirection. And these campuses may not be, schools that you would ideally want to go to, especially because they're typically, you wouldn't have applied to them in the first place. It's up to you as to whether or not you want to accept the redirection. That's entirely your choice. You're not forced to go to one of the schools, but at least is giving you that guarantee of it being admitted somewhere. And so this, again, is for ADT applicants only. Next up, financing a CSU education. So in terms of financial aid, it's really important that you submit your either FAFSA or the California Dream Act application by the March 2nd deadline, and also your GPA verification for Cal Grant eligibility. The Cal States do have a website, the Financial Aid Resources website, which the QR code is pictured on the screen here, and that gives you just generally more information about financing your CSU education. Here's a sample cost. So individual campuses, the fees vary by the institution, but you can look on the Cal State website to get some sample costs for each of the campuses that you've applied to. We've got a QR code at the top here also for that to look at the individual campuses. And so we have an example of Long Beach looking at the various costs for living with parents, living on campus, off campus, and you'll see that food and housing changes with those different options, but things like the fees are going to fees, books, would stay the same, but things like transportation could obviously shift a little bit depending on your particular situation. And currently they have the 2021-2022 information posted, but the 2022-2023 costs have not yet been updated. So this is not a perfect idea of perfect information on the costs, because it can change, but at least gives you a general idea of the sample costs for the various schools you're considering. That brings us to the end of our presentation on the Cal State Next Steps. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, please contact the OCC Transfer Center. We're located in Watson Hall, room 215. Our email is transfercenter@occ.cccd.edu. And you can also check out our website, which has a lot of helpful information at orangecoastcollege.edu/transfer.